Howdy, y'all. It's Laney, your true crime Southern expert. Today, we're diving deep into Ryan Murphy's Monsters Season 3, and I've got a chilling question for y'all. Who made the monster, and did that monster create even more monsters? Season 1, we know, focused on Jeffrey Dahmer, and it was clear who the monster was. Season 2, called Monsters, and it was the Menendez story. It made you even question, was the monster the Menendez brothers, or was it Jose and Kitty Menendez? Made you wonder. Now in season 3, we're going to go even deeper, and it made me really think about the origins of evil. I'm not going to spoil the show for you, but here's one thing that stood out. They portrayed Ed in a romantic relationship, and historically, we just know he never had one. And I think that creative choice really kind of muddies the facts. It is a reminder that dramatizations can blur reality even when we're talking about monsters. Aside from that, the series really digs deep into Gein's psyche and his surroundings. While he's known as a serial killer, technically, he was only convicted of one murder. Much of his infamy just came from robbing graves and experimenting with the remains. Ed grew up isolated on a farm with a mother who was deeply religious and extremely controlling. She didn't allow public schooling. She sheltered him and his brother Henry and filled their minds with strict fire and brimstone teachings. It's easy to wonder, was Ed's mother the monster who shaped him? Or did the darkness he absorbed from the outside world, the horrors of World War II, and reports of Nazis making different things from human skin? Did that plant a seed as well? And here's the part that often gets overlooked. We don't really know what Ed's mother had gone through whenever she was a child, when she was growing up. What monsters were hiding in her psyche from the things that she saw, heard, or experienced. Trauma echoes across generations, and it's possible that her own fears and horrors helped shape the man that Ed would become. Ed and Henry lived alone with their mother well into their 40s, and when Henry passed away, and after that, Ed lived alone with his mother, and whenever Ed's mother died, he was isolated on that farm with nothing but his own thoughts. And after Gein's arrest, police found a human heart in a frying pan on the stove. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. We all have heard about the House of Horror and the things that they found in his home. And it's pretty scary. It was truly a house of horrors. And here's what even gets wilder. His crimes inspired the novel Psycho, which inspired Hitchcock's movie. And that film opened the door for Main Street horror like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, as well as Silence of the Lambs. And we all know that one had a character, Buffalo Bill, that was based off of Ed Gein. And those works arguably shaped the imaginations for future killers, like BTK, Ted Bundy, and those were all influenced from Ed's earlier crimes. And here's another layer. I truly believe that if Brian Koberger hadn't done such a deep dive on BTK, his life and psyche, I just wonder if he would have created his crimes with the Idaho 4. It is a chilling reminder that even the act of studying monsters can sometimes ripple outward in ways no one intends. In fact, I believe that the discovery of the human heart may have even shaped Jeffrey Dahmer's interest. Who knows? We just can't know. I think it's a chilling domino effect. Ed was shaped by his environment. His crimes inspired media. The media combined with intense studies influenced real live other serial killers. And from Ed Gein's isolated Wisconsin farm to Hitchcock's Psycho to studies from Koberger on BTK, the ripple effect is undeniable. Stories, research, and media don't exist in a vacuum. They can influence minds in ways both fascinating and terrifying. It makes you wonder, what are we feeding our brains? Just think about that for a minute, okay? What are we feeding our brains? Everything that you put in your brain can reshape your sense of right and wrong. Now, I love some true crime, please believe, but this season really reminds me how powerful stories are, for good and for evil. It's not just about who the monster is, but it's about who or what made the monster. So, on my final thought, I just want you to take a minute and think. So, next time you watch a horror flick or read a grisly true crime story, ask yourself, what stories are shaping your own sense of right and wrong? That's a good question, isn't it? So I'm going to leave that for you to ponder on. Until next time, keep your tea sweet, and we'll see you next time. I always mess up the last line. Eventually I'm going to get the last line. Anyway, later guys.